Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from anthonymorganti.com. You know, when I tell a story or when I try to explain something, a fault I have is I tend to over-explain things. As a matter of fact, when I was younger, my mom used to say, ask Tony what time it is and he'll tell you how to make a clock. So I admit I tend to over-explain and get into too much detail. And one thing that could happen when I do that is I lose my point along the way. And in my episode 2 of my street photography series, I was explaining creepiness. And I kind of lost my point, and somebody very kindly in the comments section challenged me on it in a kind, professional way. You know, they weren't trolling. And I appreciate comments like that where we could have intelligent discourse and you're not just taking a pot shot at me for no reason. And when I re-listened to what I said, it was obvious that what I was trying to convey got lost in my diatribe. And what I started out saying was that there's a lot of street photography experts, and they're definitely experts. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. These are great street photographers that have written and or made videos saying that the creepiness factor of a street photographer increases the longer the focal length they use. And I was trying to explain that I don't agree with that. That how could they feel that if you use a long lens, you're being creepy, but they don't feel it's creepy to use a super wide angle lens and be right on top of someone and taking their picture without them knowing it. Now, I wasn't trying to say that I thought it's creepy. I did say something to the effect, what I meant to say at least was, if you think that way, then all street photography is creepy. I don't feel that way. That's not what I meant. What I meant was that for those folks that have written and have made videos stating that using a long lens is creepy, then they should feel that all street photography is creepy. I don't feel that way. I think street photography is essential. I think it's an essential part of us as humans to document our society, our social interactions, and I think it's essential that we go out and do that. I don't think it's creepy at all. I think it's a natural, required thing to do. So that's what happens is I got into this long explanation and I meandered my way into speaking something I didn't really believe in, which I apologize for that, and I will try to keep my explanations more concise in the future, although I will admit it's difficult for me, but I will do my best. Now, other comments I received were mainly about my self-imposed restrictions. I had mentioned that I personally don't photograph homeless people, people that seem to have a mental or physical disability, or young girls that are by themselves. And I gave my reasons why, but the reason why I brought that up, or I even said it, is I do get emails all the time. Tony, do you photograph homeless people? Do you photograph, this, that? And I'd rather say it in a video so I don't get dozens of emails later that I have to answer. Now, those are self-imposed restrictions by me. They're not suggestions for you how you should go about shooting. They're just things that I don't do, and I don't have a specific reason why I could tell you why I don't do them. It's just that that's the way I shoot. I don't shoot those types of images. Again, those are probably required to document the society we live in. Those images probably should be taken. There's just something that I don't do. Again, I'm not suggesting that you don't do it either. If you think it makes or it speaks to you, if it helps you express yourself through your photography, then you definitely should shoot those images. I'm just saying that that's something I don't do. Now, with that said, somebody said, well, with those self-imposed restrictions, you're never going to be a great street photographer. Well, I don't care. I'm not making these videos to show off my photography. I'm making these videos to help other people with their photography. If I want to show off my photography, I'll put it on one of the circle jerk websites like 500px or Flickr or something like that. There's enough of those sites where I could show off my photography. This video series and every video I do is just to try to help people with their photography and not to promote my photography. So I mean that sincerely. And I don't mean it in a snide way. It's just, I'm trying to help people with their photography. It's as simple as that. And I find what appeals to me about street photography is I think it's the hardest form of photography for me. Now everyone's different. Some people might think studio photography is really difficult. Street photography for me is super hard, and I like accomplishing in taking on challenging things. That's my personality. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to try to do it. So that's just the way I am. So street photography is super hard for me, super, super hard. And one thing I found about street photography, it is more critical, meaning there's a lot more critics involved. Meaning, if I go out and take a landscape shot, if it's a nice landscape shot, the majority of people will say, that's a pretty good landscape shot, you know? Street photography is different. You could take a shot that really appeals to you, but 95% of the people that look at it are gonna say it's crap. And it's different, and I kind of like that about it too. There's like Robert Frank, he wrote that book, The Americans. I've read people have said that is the greatest photography book, not just street photography, but it's the greatest book on photography that ever was. Then I know people personally that think it sucks, that says it's a horrible, he's overrated. Joel Meyerowitz, very famous street photographer in New York. Look under any video about Joel Meyerowitz, you'll see people say, I don't see the point, I don't see why this guy's popular, you know what I mean? It's something that is very personal to you, and some people will relate to it and other people won't. It's just the way it is. And again, I kind of like that. I like that about it. So next video, I'll be out on the street again trying to shoot, and it is an extra challenge, not an excuse, an extra challenge to go out with a camera on your chest and try to capture a great image in an hour. You know what I mean? It's difficult, but I'll do my best. The main part of the video is, though, not necessarily to capture that great Pulitzer Prize winning image. The idea is try to convey some knowledge about how to go about taking images in the street. So that's it. I think that's everything I wanted to cover, and covered main things. And mainly I wanted to clear that up, that I don't believe street photography is creepy, and I apologize for my diarrhea of the mouth that tends to happen, and I get my point lost. I apologize for that. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you guys soon.